Hey there, science fans! Have you ever thought about what keeps our planet safe? It's not just the atmosphere, you know. Earth has an invisible shield called the magnetic field. This field protects us from harmful stuff coming from the sun. The magnetic field is like a superhero's force field. It wraps around Earth and pushes away most of the dangerous particles. These particles are called solar wind, and they come from the sun all the time. Without the magnetic field, our atmosphere would be blown away. That's right, the air we breathe would be lost to space. The magnetic field is super important for life on Earth. Let's learn more about how it works. So where does this amazing magnetic field come from? Deep, deep down beneath our feet. At the center of Earth is a giant ball of iron, almost entirely solid, called the inner core. It's unbelievably hot, over 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Surrounding the solid inner core is the outer core. This part of the core is made of liquid iron and nickel. The liquid metal is constantly moving because of the heat from the inner core and Earth's rotation. All this movement in the outer core creates electric currents, just like a giant generator. And guess what? Those electric currents generate the magnetic field. This process is called the Dynamo. Cool, right? The Earth's core is like a giant engine, powering the magnetic field that protects us every single day. It's a powerful reminder that even things we can't see can have a huge impact on our lives. Imagine a world without the protection of a magnetic field. Sounds scary, right? Well, it would be. One of the biggest dangers would be atmospheric erosion. Remember the solar wind? It's a stream of charged particles constantly flowing from the sun. Without the magnetic field to deflect it, the solar wind would slam into our atmosphere with full force. Over time, this constant bombardment would strip away our atmosphere, just like it did to Mars billions of years ago. Mars once had a much thicker atmosphere and even liquid water on its surface. But without a global magnetic field, the solar wind blew most of it away, leaving Mars the barren, dry planet we see today. Losing our atmosphere would be catastrophic. It would mean less air to breathe, less protection from harmful radiation, and extreme temperature swings. It's not something we want to experience. The magnetic field doesn't just protect our atmosphere, it also shields us from dangerous radiation. Every day, Earth is bombarded by high-energy particles from space, called cosmic rays. These rays come from distant stars and galaxies, and then there's the sun. Our friendly neighborhood star can sometimes unleash powerful bursts of energy called solar flares and coronal mass ejections. These events send even more radiation hurtling towards Earth. Luckily, our magnetic field deflects most of this radiation, keeping us safe. But without it, we'd be exposed to much higher levels of radiation, which can damage our cells, cause cancer, and even lead to genetic mutations. Astronauts in space face similar risks, which is why they wear special suits and spacecraft are designed with radiation shielding. It's a reminder of how important our magnetic field is for protecting life on Earth. Section 5. Technological chaos, navigation and communication breakdown. Prepare for a tech meltdown. Imagine a world where our most trusted devices suddenly fail us. Without the magnetic field, our technology would go haywire. The very systems we rely on daily would be thrown into disarray. Compasses, which rely on the magnetic field for direction, would spin uselessly. Navigation, both on land and at sea, would become a guessing game. GPS systems, which use satellites that depend on the magnetic field, would fail. This would affect everything from personal navigation to global shipping routes. Satellites themselves would be in big trouble. These vital tools for communication and data transmission would be at risk. Without the magnetic field's protection, they'd be bombarded by radiation, frying their electronics and disrupting communication, navigation, and weather forecasting systems. The ripple effects would be felt globally. Imagine a world without internet or phone service. Our daily lives would be severely impacted, from business operations to personal communications. Even our power grids would be at risk. The stability of our electricity supply would be compromised. Geomagnetic storms, caused by disturbances in the magnetic field, can induce powerful currents in power lines, leading to blackouts and widespread damage. The infrastructure we depend on would be vulnerable. Without the magnetic field's protection, these storms would be much more frequent and intense. The beautiful auroras we admire would be a sign of the chaos beneath. Our technologically advanced world is surprisingly vulnerable without the invisible shield of the magnetic field. The very fabric of our modern society would be at risk. It's a reminder of how interconnected our technology is with the natural world. The balance we often take for granted is crucial for our survival. Section 6. Human survival, a world without protection. Could humans survive without a magnetic field? It wouldn't be easy. We'd have to adapt to a much harsher environment, one with higher radiation levels, a thinner atmosphere, and extreme weather events. Imagine living in radiation-proof shelters, venturing outside only in specialized protective gear. Our food supply would be threatened as crops struggled to grow in the altered atmosphere and increased radiation. Medical advancements would be crucial for treating radiation sickness and genetic mutations. We might even see evolutionary changes as humans adapt to the new conditions. It's a bleak picture, but not entirely hopeless. Humans are incredibly resourceful and adaptable. We've overcome challenges throughout history, and with enough ingenuity and cooperation, we might find ways to survive in a world without a magnetic field. Section 7. Wildlife in peril, disrupted migration and orientation. It's not just humans who would suffer without a magnetic field. Animals that rely on it for navigation and orientation would be thrown into disarray. Migratory birds, for instance, use the magnetic field as a compass to guide their long journeys. Sea turtles, too, use the magnetic field to navigate across vast oceans, returning to the same beaches where they were born to lay their eggs. Without it, their migration routes would be disrupted, leading to disorientation and potential population declines. Many other animals, from insects to fish, use the magnetic field for orientation, foraging, and even communication. Its disappearance would disrupt ecosystems around the world, with unpredictable consequences for the delicate balance of nature. The loss of the magnetic field would be a disaster for wildlife, highlighting the interconnectedness of all living things and the importance of protecting the natural systems that support us all. Section 8. Lessons from our neighbors, Mars and Venus. To understand what could happen to Earth without a magnetic field, we can look to our planetary neighbors, Mars and Venus. These two planets, though vastly different in many ways, share a common thread in their lack of a global magnetic field, which has had profound effects on their atmospheres and surface conditions. Mars, once a warmer, wetter planet, lost its global magnetic field billions of years ago. This loss had catastrophic consequences for the planet's ability to retain its atmosphere and support liquid water on its surface. Without the magnetic field's protection, the solar wind stripped away most of Mars's atmosphere, leaving it a cold, dry desert with a thin atmosphere. The once flowing rivers and lakes dried up, and the planet became a barren wasteland. Any liquid water on the surface evaporated or froze, leaving behind evidence of ancient rivers and lakes. These dry riverbeds and frozen lakes are a stark reminder of what Mars once was and what it has become. Venus, on the other hand, has a thick atmosphere but lacks a global magnetic field. Despite this, its atmosphere remains intact, but this comes with its own set of challenges. While its atmosphere is protected from being stripped away by the solar wind, Venus suffers from a runaway greenhouse effect. The thick clouds and dense atmosphere trap heat, creating a pressure cooker environment. The thick atmosphere traps heat, leading to scorching surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead. This extreme heat makes Venus one of the most inhospitable places in our solar system. Venus serves as a cautionary tale of how a planet's atmosphere can be both a blessing and a curse. The very thing that protects it from solar wind also creates an environment too harsh for life as we know it. These two planets provide valuable lessons about the importance of a magnetic field for maintaining a habitable environment. Mars shows us the dangers of losing atmospheric protection, while Venus highlights the perils of an unchecked greenhouse effect. They remind us that Earth's magnetic field is not invincible and that we should strive to protect it. Understanding the fates of Mars and Venus can help us appreciate the delicate balance that makes Earth habitable and the importance of preserving it for future generations. Section 9. Protecting our precious shield, a call to action. The Earth's magnetic field is an invisible shield, silently protecting us from harm. It deflects harmful solar radiation and cosmic rays, ensuring that life on our planet can thrive. It's easy to take it for granted, but without it, life as we know it would be impossible. This magnetic field is generated by the movement of molten iron within Earth's outer core, creating a dynamic and ever-changing force. While a complete disappearance of the magnetic field is unlikely in our lifetimes, its strength does fluctuate over time, and it's essential to understand the factors that can impact it. These fluctuations can affect everything from animal migration patterns to satellite operations. Scientists are constantly monitoring the magnetic field, studying its behavior and looking for ways to mitigate any potential threats. Their research helps us prepare for any changes that might occur and ensures that we can continue to rely on this vital shield. While there's no immediate danger, it's crucial to be aware of the importance of our planet's natural defenses. Understanding the magnetic field's role helps us appreciate the delicate balance that sustains life on Earth. We can all do our part by supporting scientific research, funding projects that aim to understand and protect our magnetic field, reducing our impact on the environment and adopting sustainable practices in our daily lives, and spreading awareness about the importance of the magnetic field. Educating others about this invisible shield can inspire collective action and foster a sense of global responsibility. By working together, we can ensure that our planet remains a safe and habitable home for generations to come. Collaboration and unity are key to preserving our world. Remember, we only have one Earth. This unique planet is our only home, and its well-being is in our hands. Let's treat it with the care and respect it deserves. Every small action counts towards a healthier, more sustainable future.